Hello Leo, child of the sun, the one who carries within you the light of courage, the spirit of leadership, and a heart full of loyalty. You don't just walk through life, you shine. You don't just exist, you inspire. But today I must ask you something. What happens if someone, quietly but intentionally, is trying to dim your light, not to guide you but to make you doubt yourself? I hope you'll stay, because what I'm about to share might be the explanation for the confusion you've felt recently. Those vague emotions, those strange signs, those subtle vibrations that made you start to question your own inner voice. You may have gone through moments of imbalance, sleepless nights for no clear reason, or a heaviness in your chest when facing decisions that once seemed so obvious. This isn't just passing worry. I can feel it too. And when I connected with today's energy, lighting candles, meditating, and focusing entirely on your vibrational field, the truth became so clear it could no longer be denied. Someone has spoken your name in the unseen world. And Leo, that call does not carry good intentions. It's not a blessing. It's quiet envy, a form of subtle control, a manipulative energy slowly making its way into your energy field without you even realizing it. That's why the universe chose this moment to bring you here, to hear what your soul has already been sensing. Because from June 22nd to June 24th, your energy field will become extremely sensitive. What once felt certain may suddenly seem unclear. The decisions you normally make with strong intuition may now be laced with doubt. And in that wave of confusion, I sense the presence of someone whose name starts with an S. They're not coming to confront you openly. They appear with vague words, with accidental meanings, with a type of influence that's hard to name. But they're slowly eroding your clarity, your financial energy, and your sense of control over your own life. Whisper to the universe in the comments under this video. I choose myself. I release what no longer belongs to me. I call peace back in. Leo, you were born to shine, to lead, to spark passion and courage in others. But right now, there is a force trying to push you away from your own center of power. And you are not here reading this by coincidence. The universe has called you. If your heart is beating faster, if you feel a cold wave down your spine, that is the sign. It's confirmation that you're being warned. Take a deep breath. Place your hand on your chest, where your great and loyal heart beats, and listen. Because what's coming next isn't just an astrological message. It's spiritual protection. It's the light being returned to you. It's divine guidance leading you back to the inner throne that no one but you can ever touch. If you believe in the power of this message and want to spread this goodness while receiving energy from the universe and from God, consider sending a super thanks from $5 to $50. This will help our community grow a charity fund and continue sharing inspiration and positivity with the world. Thank you so much. Amen. At this very moment, whether by accident or design, your name may have been sent out into the world not with love but with unresolved jealousy, with insecurity disguised as care, with a desire for control wrapped in kind words. Leo, you are a symbol of light and self-respect. But now more than ever, you need to take a look at your own light. Is it being dimmed by someone else's energy? Are you holding on to a powerful image while your heart is quietly bleeding from invisible words? Are you trying to shine in a room where someone is silently drawing the curtains closed? Now is the time for you to pause and ask yourself, is the confidence you're showing on the outside really coming from within? Or has it been shaped by whispered remarks, judging eyes, or the lack of recognition from someone you once trusted? The Hermit card has appeared in your reading, not to remind you of isolation, but to guide you back to yourself. It invites you to step off the stage for a moment, not to disappear, but to listen to the truth quietly speaking in your heart. You don't need anyone's approval to shine. You were born wearing a crown. Ask yourself, am I holding on to a relationship, a connection, or an image simply because I'm afraid of being forgotten? Am I sacrificing my peace just to be accepted or to please someone? Leo, you don't have to apologize for your light, but that light must be nourished by truth, not by the exhaustion of trying to stay strong. Your heart is a sacred fire, radiant, loyal, courageous, and it deserves to be protected from the unseen toxic winds. Right now, a person whose name may begin with the letter S, is sending you energy that is no longer pure. They may have once been a friend, a lover, a colleague, or simply someone who once held a part of your heart. They don't have to say anything, but their presence or even their silence is affecting your financial flow, your clarity, and your belief in yourself. The universe is not letting you face this alone. What you are sensing isn't your imagination. It's real energy, and your task is to recognize it, not to fight anyone but to free yourself. The Strength card has also appeared in your reading, not to remind you to be tougher, but to return you to the kind of strength you've always had. The gentle strength that doesn't need to pretend it isn't hurt. This card isn't a call to battle. It's a quiet invitation to draw in your claws and listen to your heart. True strength doesn't roar. It lives in the courage to admit you've been wounded, and in the pride to choose healing. Leo, you've always been the one to bring others hope, encouragement, and faith. You are the campfire in the cold night. But ask yourself, are you lighting up the world around you while forgetting to keep a little warmth for yourself? Are you trying to keep the peace, playing the strong one, when deep down all you want is to be held and heard? Don't let yourself burn out just to keep glowing for someone who isn't brave enough to face how brightly you shine. There is someone, again, possibly with a name starting with S, who is sending you distorted energy. Not loud, not obvious, but as subtle and stinging as smoke that makes your eyes water before you even realize it's there. They may have once been close, a companion, a confidant, someone who once gave you sweet words. But now, just your presence causes their energy to drag you down. They may not speak at all, but their silence rings like a song that throws your powerful rhythm off key. This is no longer connection. It's an invisible anchor, pulling your mind and your money back to outdated versions of yourself. The Sun card also appeared. A message from the universe affirming your light cannot be stolen unless you choose to give it away. The sun doesn't need approval to rise, and neither do you. Leo, you don't need permission to shine. Now is the time to reignite the torch within, not to fight the darkness, but to illuminate it with truth. Maybe you've stayed too long in a connection that has gone cold. Maybe you've played the role of the keeper, the healer, the steady one, just because you feared that if you walked away, everything would fall apart. But what happens if it's you who's quietly falling apart? What if your limitless loyalty has become a burden? This is no longer the time for explanations. This is the time to reclaim your inner throne. If your light has been dimmed by an unseen hand, you have every right to take back the energy you once gave away. No need for rage, no need for resentment. All it takes is for you to rise and softly whisper to the universe, I choose myself. Because true love never asks you to shrink. Real connection doesn't make you question your own light. And if a voice, a glance, or a presence makes you feel smaller, then that's not where you belong. Leo, you don't have to apologize for growing, for becoming stronger, for no longer being so easily controlled. And if someone is trying to hold you back by planting seeds of doubt in your mind and in your finances, your letting go is not a failure. It is a sacred declaration. From now on, your light belongs only to places that know how to honor it. Leo, you weren't born to live within the boundaries of pleasing others. You are not a candle waiting for permission to burn. You are fire itself, the first rays of dawn that tear through the dark. And your journey didn't begin with submission, but with a silent vow to yourself that you would live fully, brightly, and truthfully. But even the sun can be hidden by clouds. And sometimes those clouds don't come from the world outside, but from the very people you once allowed close to your heart. This June, as the sun, your ruling planet, forms a square with Saturn in your relationship sector, you may feel an unnamed pressure within your closest connections. Something that once felt familiar and safe may now feel heavy and tangled. Small things, long silences, vague words, recurring emotions might be signs that you're twisting yourself too much just to keep the peace. But does that peace come from real love, or from a level of tolerance that's slowly silencing your inner voice? The simultaneous presence of Pluto in your opposite sign brings subtle, but intense waves of control and manipulation. Maybe you felt it in your chest, a subtle turn in your intuition, a hesitation before making a decision, or a kind of weariness that doesn't match the situation. These feelings aren't random. They are the universe's way of telling you your emotional compass is being thrown off course, possibly by someone whose name starts with S. They may once have been someone who made you feel seen, but now you're starting to wonder if that gaze is still sincere, or if it's just a projection of their fear over your growth. In these final days of the month, you'll feel the invisible lines more clearly. The difference between spaces where you are free to be yourself, and those where you must shrink just to avoid judgment, misunderstanding, or abandonment. And if you find yourself constantly apologizing for simply being who you are, that's when it's time to stop. June also brings a full moon illuminating your career and public image sector. This is a moment for you to ask, what role am I playing in the eyes of others? And is that role betraying my own truth? Maybe you've been holding up an image of strength and control. But what if what you truly need is a space where you can be vulnerable without being judged? What if your natural loyalty has become a trap, keeping you in a connection that's no longer aligned? Letting go is not betrayal. It's an act of deep loyalty to yourself. And when you dare to walk away from a place of artificial light, the universe won't let you be alone. Sacred things only arrive when the inner space is cleared of what has expired. If you keep clinging to a version of a relationship that used to be right, you're blocking the doorway for something better to come. And remember, Leo, compassion does not mean blind sacrifice. You may still love, but you can also choose distance. You may still forgive, but you still have the right to walk away. That doesn't make you heartless. It makes you mature. And if you've ignored your intuition time and again just to be seen as easy to be around, then this June is the time to revoke that old agreement. Not because you want to hurt anyone, but because you are ready to live truthfully without hiding, without compromising with your fear of being misunderstood. And when you rise for yourself, your light won't just return. It will blaze brighter than ever before. Leo, when you choose to walk away, whether it's just for now or for good, carry this truth with you. You owe no one an explanation. You don't need permission to find peace. No one has the authority to approve your sense of calm. There is a kind of quiet, powerful, radiant strength that asks for no applause. It lies in refusing to trade your inner harmony for the false approval of those who only feel comfortable when you're soft, compliant, and never ask for anything for yourself. In the days ahead, as the universe's energy blends with your own inner shifts, certain situations will begin to reveal the true nature of the connections around you. Pay attention. Notice each conversation, every glance, every lingering feeling after an interaction. Does it leave you stronger? Or does it make you shrink? Does it help you trust yourself more? Or does it make you question your light? Don't overthink it. Feeling knows before logic does. And that echo, silent but unmistakably clear, will become your compass. Leo, you have every right to choose connections that reflect who you're becoming, not just who you used to be. You don't have to hold on to what's familiar simply because it was once good. You don't have to stay in a version of yourself you've outgrown just because others aren't ready for your evolution. Some emotions remain, but not in the right way. They linger as energy, as memory, like threads that tug at your heart into unclear spaces. And when a name suddenly rises in your mind, when the image of someone from the past returns uninvited, you might ask yourself, is this a sweet memory or an unresolved connection? With your natural depth of intuition, you can feel the undercurrents, and you know when the energy has shifted, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. The Strength card, a symbol of inner courage and uncompromising compassion, has appeared in your reading, not to remind you to be tougher, but to remind you that real strength is not about controlling others. It's about not abandoning yourself. Leo, you don't have to become unbreakable. You only have to become honest, with your feelings, with your desires, and with your boundaries. Right now, emotional energy from the universe is opening a door, an invitation. It may come from someone new or from someone old showing up in a different form. But the invitation itself is not the most important thing. What matters more is this. Are you ready to receive something new with a heart cleared of old expectations? Are you calling in something from wholeness or from emptiness? And do you have the courage to know the difference? Maybe in the past you gave everything to keep a connection breathing. You chose quiet comfort over honest storms. You said it's fine when you should have said, I need more than this. But love is not silent endurance. Attachment is not loyalty to a version of someone that makes you forget your own worth. And forgiveness does not mean you have to stay. Leo, you don't need to fix what no longer wants to be healed. You are not obligated to carry someone else's heart if they haven't yet learned how to hold it themselves. All you need is to be honest with yourself, deeply honest. And when you do that, you don't lose anyone. You finally come home to who you truly are. This month, old relationships may resurface, not necessarily through a call or message, but through energy. A name might suddenly cross your mind without reason. A dream may bring back a feeling of longing for something you thought you had already let go of. But true love doesn't come to stir memories. It comes to uplift you in the present. And if someone only shows up when they sense you shining again, when your inner peace is finally growing stronger, then the question isn't what do they want? The real question is, do you still need what they're offering? Leo, you've come a long way in your healing. You've learned to hold your head high, not out of pride but simply to breathe. You've rebuilt trust with yourself step by step, after relationships that made you question whether your heart had been loving the right way. And the universe sees that. In the second half of June, as the Sun, your ruling planet, forms a trine with Jupiter, the planet of expansion and luck, a new doorway to love may open. But not everyone is meant to walk through it. Only those who never make you shrink are worthy of standing in the next chapter of your heart. Before the new can enter, you must clear space. Not with bitterness but with clarity. Ask yourself, am I holding on to the echo of a past love just because it once made me feel special? Am I unconsciously leaving the door slightly open, hoping someone who once left will return in a different form? True love doesn't keep you waiting in uncertainty. It arrives with certainty, with an honest gaze, with words that don't hide. And you, Leo, were not born to live in the gray. If someone, perhaps with a name starting with S, is making you feel more confused than supported, trust your intuition. What you're feeling isn't your imagination. It's your body and soul signaling that this energy is no longer aligned. The quiet ongoing discomfort, the baseless hesitation when imagining a future with this person. These are all signs that your heart is asking for release, not further attachment. Real love will make you feel free, not bound by expectation. It will inspire you to grow, to expand, not to shrink yourself in order to fit with someone else. And you deserve that kind of love. One that honors your growth, that isn't threatened by your light, that doesn't call you selfish for setting boundaries. Because you're not here to fix anyone. You're here to live fully with someone who is also ready to live fully with you. Not out of fear of being alone, but because they choose you just as you are choosing yourself. Leo, if lately your heart has felt unclear, your emotions drifting like a leaf unable to find a steady current to follow, know that this isn't weakness. It's a sign, a subtle doubt after a conversation, a hesitation in decisions that once came easily, or a quiet heavy feeling pressing into your chest. All of it is your intuition trying to whisper something to you. And what matters now isn't that you understand it right away, but that you pay attention without judgment, without rushing. Simply notice. Not every disruption means you have to walk away. But every disruption is an invitation to pause and re-examine your path, to see whether it still aligns with the person you're becoming. June astrology brings an especially sensitive energy for you, as the axis between your 4th house of emotional refuge and 10th house of purpose and public image is challenged by tense aspects. This is a moment where you may feel torn between two directions. One offering familiar emotional safety, the other calling you toward the life you know you're meant to live. And in between are the voices of people who once loved you the old way, now trying to pull you back to where you've already outgrown. Not because they're bad, but because they fear losing the version of you that was easier for them to hold on to. June teaches you that clarity doesn't come through applause but through silence. And in that silence, you begin to hear again the precision of your own heart. If a name keeps surfacing in your mind, if a look, a phrase, or a memory returns and stirs something in you, write it down. Not to hold on to it, but to see it clearly. Write it, look at it, and when you're ready, burn it under the light of a white candle. And as the smoke fades, trust that the fog in your mind is also beginning to lift. Leo, you are not here to carry other people's fear of your growth. You don't have to live within the limits others are used to seeing you in. You don't need to wear a mask just to make your light easier for others to bear. Peace doesn't come from someone else agreeing with you. It comes from you agreeing with yourself. And if that means letting go of a connection that once felt sacred, know that you're not abandoning love. You're honoring it by refusing to let it become something that makes you shrink. You didn't come across this message by accident. Every part of you that's longing to be heard, your freedom, your clarity, your maturity led you here. And now you only need to do one thing. Trust that the light within you is enough. And anything that causes you to doubt that light no longer has permission to stay. Leo, if you're still here, if your heart is still open receiving each word of this message, then this is no longer a coincidence. This is divine alignment because your soul is ready. Ready to release, ready to move forward, and above all, ready to return to itself. The universe doesn't send warnings to make you afraid. It sends them to help you remember the truth inside you. And the truth is this. You no longer need to hold on to connections that make you question your worth. You don't need to stay silent just to make others comfortable. And you certainly don't need to keep investing your time, your love, or your money in someone who is quietly manipulating your energy field. Especially between June 22nd and June 24th, when energy portals open, you'll have a rare opportunity to clearly see who is truly uplifting you and who is the quiet source of emotional interference. If a name beginning with the letter S keeps coming into your mind, don't ignore it. If someone leaves you feeling drained instead of empowered, uncertain instead of grounded, foggy instead of clear, then this is the moment to pause. Not to run away, but to reclaim your own light. You don't have to walk away with anger, but you do need to walk away with clarity. Leo, you were born to lead, to shine, to build a life that reflects the proud and generous soul within you. And you cannot do that if you keep pouring into someone else's cup while yours is running empty. So give yourself permission to step out of misaligned energy and allow your inner space to be filled once again with light. Thank you so much for staying until the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Buddhist Pathways so you won't miss future messages and divine insights. Your financial destiny is fully in your hands, and I can't wait to see what the universe has in store for you. Step forward. Step into the current of abundance, and let the universe's incredible energy guide you toward your radiant future.